Hey there. Today's topic is, oh no, I'd lost my habit. And I am not talking about what nuns wear. I am talking about some habits that I had. They were pretty good habits. I was pretty pleased with them. And then, yep, the rotator cuff surgery happened. And some of those habits have faltered. Now, you might say, well, it's to be recommend it's to, reasonable having had surgery that some of the habits would falter, and that is indeed true. And so what I'm going to do real quick is review what I consider to be the five beacon habits. Those are the ones that really are beacons for all other habits. And then I'm going to concentrate on three that indeed have faltered more than maybe they should have or could have over my recovery. And I am about a month out because my surgery was on February 9th. So, just briefly, whoops, there we go. Beacon habits: nutrition, which includes water and food; rest, which includes sleep as well as relaxation; movement includes any kind of movement; appreciate includes things like gratitude, appreciation, things of that nature. And anchor is things like prayer, meditation, mindfulness, journaling, etc. So naturally, my rest has been disturbed, sleeping, etc. And so, yes, I'm working on that. However, I also know that it will not really, go back to how it was before until I'm out of the sling and don't have very much pain. So, I'm doing what I can to restore my regular habit of rest and number of hours of sleep and things of that nature. However, at the same time, I'm trying to be reasonable and know that, yeah, it's not going to go back to the way it was immediately. We're still probably several weeks, if not a month or more out. Overall recovery from a rotator cuff is 4 to 6 months. Although I do hope to be out of the sling in 2 weeks or less, but we'll see. It's a process. So let's talk about a couple of other habits that, yeah, are a little more under my control. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we all have a lot of different habits. Some of them are by design. We have them the way we want them, or we know the way that we want them. And, we're working towards that. And if you need some hints about that, I do have a previous video about habit formation. Others of us have habits by default, which is just what happens when we haven't made habits by design. Most of us, of course, have a little bit of both because life happens. All right, just like this happened. And I actually was able to plan a little bit for this particular medical based life transition. So here's one of the most interesting habits that changed, and I can't quite explain it, but I'll tell you what changed and what I'm now doing about it. Okay, so let me actually start back one step and say that I have some. I use a bullet journal, and in that bullet journal, I record my number of steps every day, how much water I drink. And I have a water app that I actually really like the water app. So it has a minimum per day that I'm trying to achieve. And it also, this particular spot in my bullet journal also has a place for, food. Did I do a pretty good job? Did I not do a great job? Did I overeat somewhere? Did I get distracted by something? Have the munchies, etc. And also, in another place in that bullet journal, I have a daily gratitude practice where I list three things at the end of every day that that I am grateful for or that I appreciate. Now, I am right-handed, and therefore, since the rotator cuff surgery was on my right shoulder, I'm having to do things left-handed. I knew that in advance, so I knew I'd have to give myself a little bit of grace. That is sometimes what happens when life happens and some of your habits need to be modified for at least a short while. So again, taking all of that into account. So imagine my surprise when underneath the nutrition habit, I've really struggled to maintain my daily intake of water. Now, I know how important hydration is. And I love my water app, and I've been at or above the minimum probably 98% of every month for well over a year. Yeah, I have no idea. I've been carrying around my glass. This is 24 ounces. You know, full fresh water, etc. And for some reason, it's been really hard. I don't know whether my little fish jumping in the water aquarium app is not motivating. I'm not sure what it is, but for quite a while, I didn't even record like the percentage of water. So now what I'm doing to help a little bit is to go ahead and record that percentage every day, just so I can see if I'm moving up towards 100% of my daily minimum, or whether I'm staying the same, or what I'm preferring not to do, which is to go down. So again, giving myself some grace, of course, but drinking water really has in no way associated with the rotator cuff. So, it's easy to do with my left hand. I don't even have to think about it. So I can't explain it. But what I am doing is by going ahead and recording, which is really a decision over the past week. Prior to that, it was, maybe once a week I was recording after the surgery date. Before that, I was recording every day. Who knows? Anyway, that's where I am with that. And so you may have a habit that you was working really well for you and something happened and it's dropped off. And so what can you do? Well, one thing you can do is do the best you can. Start with either something that worked previously or something new and take little steps. So I'm not dinging myself for not getting my minimum. I just know that I'm trying to work back up to the minimum. Now, similarly with the appreciation piece, like I said, I have put three things that I'm grateful for down every day. Now, for the first couple of days, I dutifully actually wrote that with my left hand in the journal in the right place. Now I did, put one or two words where previously I might have put more words, but I was motivated to do that and, sort of novel to do it with the left hand and, forming new neural pathways, of course. Yeah, after like the first 3 or 4 days, it disappeared. I didn't have the motivation, and I know when it comes to habit formation, you can't rely on motivation. That you have to just do it. But I was just like, yeah, I don't feel like it. And funny enough, it wasn't because I didn't have things that I was grateful for. Did I say that right? Because I did. It wasn't a matter of, oh, I can't come up with something. It was just a matter of, don't want to write it. And yet I know how important that practice is to me. And I know that it keeps me on track with things, makes me stronger, helps me to be focused. So last week, beginning last week again, because I had done like a couple the first few days and then maybe one or two each of the other weeks. But now I'm trying to put down at least one every day. Again, is it the three every day? Is it the long form I was writing? No, not. But it is something which will get me back to where I was because I liked the habit and it was working well. So, similarly with the movement, now I've been wearing my Fitbit or rendition thereof and walking, enjoy walking in nature. Love my time outside, have some great places to walk. And believe it or not, I actually took a pretty long walk the day after my surgery and discovered early on that as long as I had a zip up um, hoodie, then I could have it over the sling, and that sort of kept the arm against me. And so it wasn't a matter of pain because I didn't have any. And even if I did, even taking, just a walk to the end of my street and back would be something. But again, for some reason, not that motivated. Didn't even record steps. I mean, usually I record steps even if it's just around the house on a lazy Sunday and it's under 1,000 steps. I at least record it. Yep, wasn't recording it. Again, don't know why. Watch what's on. I have this bullet journal with me right as I end my day to do this stuff. No idea. And we did have some rainy days and things like that, of course, but it wasn't really the weather. I mean, maybe there were 1 or 2 days where I said, "Oh, yeah, yeah, don't think I want to walk." But the other days, Oh, yeah, all about, I mean, beautiful days to go out and walk. We've got flowers, we've got all sorts of things happening. For whatever reason, nope, didn't do it. So again, I said, well, I need to start somewhere. So there have been a couple of times within the past 4 or 5 days when I've said, you know what, even if it is just really short, I'm going to take a walk because it gets me started. And every day for the past 4 or 5 days, I've recorded my steps, even if I haven't walked. And again, given myself some grace to say, hey, I have to work back up. And there is some pain now, more pain actually than in the beginning. Change of medications, that's another thing. But I know the importance, and I know that the longer I let the habit stay by the wayside, the infinitely harder it will be to bring it back. So that's why I'm starting with teeny tiny steps right now to help get me back to where I was. And then if later on I decide I want to go beyond where I was before surgery, that's great. Right now, not what I'm working on. All right. So what I want to see is, hey, anybody have a habit that was working and then something interfered and now it's not working anymore, or at least not working the same as it was and you were pretty happy with it? If that is something that is an issue for you or was an issue for you and you made it back from that, I would love to hear about it in the comments. You can tell the habit, you can tell what caused it to go by the wayside or what you did to help bring it back or to restart it, whatever. I know that when people comment, it helps other people go, oh, look, they had a problem and they solved it or they're working on it. And so we can get really a lot of motivation from one another. So again, Janice Russell here talking about habits, really important. I know you may not like the word, but they are really important. So would love to hear from you and stay tuned because we'll have some more videos coming up in the near future. Have a great day.